Hello and welcome. My name is Tara, and I'm going to be talking about the art of letting go. Now, I just recently uploaded a podcast on this topic, so do check it out. I will leave a link below for you to listen to more extended information around this topic. But I thought since we are wrapping up Scorpio season as I'm recording this video, which is around mid-November, I thought it would be really good to also go into a little bit more discussion here around the art of letting go. Now, we just had a very transformative time of the year in Scorpio season. And Scorpio, of course, if you've caught my other video on the month of November, it is an energy of diving into the depths of our experiences within ourselves, within relationships, really analyzing based on emotions, based on a bit of the fixation energy, a bit of really wanting to dissect and wanting to understand, from really going into, again, the depths of relationships, emotions, experiences, a lot of psychic ability as well. So really using all the senses to understand as much as possible through dissection and through dissecting certain matters. Now, the shadow side of this could be the fixation, not wanting to let go, holding on to things. Now, on an emotional level, when we hold on to emotions, when we hold on to things from the past, when we hold on to anger, frustration, fear, any of the emotions that get buried within us, it's very difficult sometimes to let it go. And I talk about this a lot in these videos, especially within the mind and with the emotions, because what happens is when our mind is activated and when we go into a certain train of thought, then our emotions start to kick in and we get stuck within that loop. We get stuck within that cycle, and it's very difficult to let go of that. And especially if our ego is playing into it, our ego likes to hold on, our ego likes control. And a lot of this, at the very foundational base of it all, is our subconscious. And our subconscious activates all of this. So our subconscious is formed from a lot of our old beliefs, our old patterns and situations from the past. Our subconscious can also be recreated with new beliefs and new perceptions and new energies that's going to be productive for us building our future. But a lot of it, we're still in this transitionary, of course, within humanity, within your journey, within my journey, of cycling out the old energies, the old beliefs, the old pains, the old hurts, the old underlying subconscious belief patterns that have been embedded within us since childhood, since early lifetime, and past life as well. So I don't want to forget past life. And I know in a lot of my videos, I've been talking about this lifetime with childhood in this lifetime, which the majority, I feel, is going to be the greatest impact with our present moment of who we are. And I want to almost focus more on that, just to pinpoint the importance of how we need to understand our childhood in order for us to unravel a lot of the programs that we have built within our subconscious, so that we can reprogram with more constructive thoughts and feelings and belief systems. So we can't forget about past life, because that does play into it. And with regards to past life, there's a lot of energies and there are a lot of situations that will reoccur and that we will either attract or that we will have to go through in this lifetime to overcome, to heal, to cut old ties, and to resolve. But I'm not going to go so much into past life yet with this, but I just wanted to mention it because it does play a factor, and it does play a role in our experiences in this lifetime. So I want to talk about, again, the art of letting go. So when you find yourself fixated on a problem, on a situation, if it's within the mind or if it's within the emotions, the most productive thing that you can do is to let go of it. Once you've dissected and once you've understood the information that you need to know from that particular situation, or from that, if it's a person, emotion, thought, your deeper exploration within yourself, once you understood it, there comes a point where we can easily cross the line of we understand it, but then we keep feeding into it, right? We live in it. So once we understand it, or once we have a gauge of what it is, then we need to move towards letting it go. Because once we move into that point of reliving it, living in it, analyzing the story over and over and over again, or being emotionally affected by it and really falling into those emotions, then we're losing ourselves and we're going to be stuck there until we look at it and decide to let it go. And the art of letting go is it's an ongoing process. It's something that awareness is going to be the key for this. Awareness is going to be the biggest factor for being aware of where the emotions are going, what are the triggers, and how to let it go. And by letting it go is just by observation. It's simply detaching from that and creating distance from those problems in life, or from the pains and the hurts or the anger. So we all have triggers, and I've mentioned this before as well. But what happens is, on a very deep subconscious level, we can tend to hold on to things for many different reasons. Now, in my podcast, I quoted some work from Michael J. Lincoln, Dr. Michael J. Lincoln, which is the work that I work with for releasing, going into subconscious programming and releasing from the past, but then also working towards reprogramming for a constructive future. And I did quote some of his work with regards to maybe a perception that may be triggered subconsciously that won't necessarily allow us to see the truth within a situation. Now, I'm going to get into that in just a moment. I did want to cover also the Devil card in tarot, and I've mentioned this before as well, what the Devil card is. And the Devil card signifies choice. It's very similar to the Lovers card as well. They both signify choice. Lovers is choosing from a place of values alignment. When we know our truth and our values, then we make choices from that place. We make choices from the place of values alignment. The Devil card is choices, making choices based on the subconscious, based on what becomes familiar on a very toxic level. Now, this could be fear, it could be addictions, it could be any kind of limitations that we have within ourselves, within the subconscious as well, but it also can be relationships. But when we fixate and when we find ourselves attached to these energies, then it's sometimes very difficult to let them go. And that's when the Devil card is in full effect, because it can become very subconscious. It can become a very unaware type of mode of operating in, or a situation that we might find ourselves in. So it's when toxicity or limitations become very real and we become stuck in that energy. And so it's a choice for us to move away from it, to create the space from it, and to let it go. But sometimes those choices are very difficult to make because we become very comfortable with them. And that's why it's very important to look at the subconscious and to create awareness within ourselves as to how we are reacting to certain situations, what we're holding on to, and what we need to let go of. And sometimes our ego really likes to hold on to things. We want to be right. We want to make sure the other person knows what they did. We want to have our problems heard. We sometimes even like living in the wallowing, or being comfortable living in the pain and the sorrow and the fear or the sadness or the anger, because it becomes very familiar. And there's a very strong chemical reaction that becomes triggered within our body when we hit those moments, when we become part of those emotions. So as I mentioned, awareness is crucial. Awareness is crucial, but sometimes you might have to work with someone else, maybe like myself, to help you through those moments, just to get you over the hurdle, to observe what's happening within self that's almost in an area where you can't see, so that you can create that distance from those emotions and attachments, and you can start working towards freeing yourself from the limitations of the past. And I always say limitations of the past because these are past energies. These are past old conditionings that we have within ourselves. We all have them. I have them. And I've been doing this work now for almost 3 years. And so the more that we are aware of our actions and owning them and getting out of the ego and starting to detach, then the faster these situations are going to be able to be released within us. And then we'll move away from giving our energy to it faster and faster and faster. So the point is, eventually in time, you won't deal with triggers. You won't have your emotions and your thoughts consumed by situations from the past. You won't get pissed off by people as much as maybe in the past. You won't dive into the fear as much as you have been in the past, or the anger or the sadness or the resentment or any of those emotions. And it'll be easier and easier to let them go. It'll be easier and easier to resolve from these old energies, so that you can open up to more experiences. So you can open up for greater experiences, greater creation, greater abilities to manifest and to have a balanced and fulfilled lifestyle. So sometimes we might even hold on to a person, we might hold on to the past, we might hold on to regrets, we might hold on to anger, frustration, stories within our mind, even family matters from a long time ago. Now, these things get stored within our subconscious. And if we're not consciously aware of letting them go, then they're just going to keep repeating and repeating and repeating until we can understand them and until we can work towards releasing them. And like I said, they can be very familiar. They can become very addicting if those stories are playing out and triggering emotions. There can be also attachments of people. So if you're familiar with the attachment styles, there are different attachment styles that we can find ourselves within. I am now in the secure attachment style. Many years ago, I probably had a bit of all three of the other ones that were very limiting, I was very insecure. I held on to love very tightly. I held on to relationships very tightly because I had a lot of unresolved wounds and traumas within myself that I needed to work through. And since I worked through them, my attachment styles has now become in a place of security where I don't have the fixations, I don't have the needs, I don't get wounded if I have abandonment show up in my life, because I've had that before in my past as well. So the work is very powerful and it frees us and it liberates us from a lot of these energies that hold us back, that prevent us from opening up for love, that prevent us from reaching our full potential, that prevent us from manifesting and creating and living in a life of fulfillment and balance and harmony. So back to the work from Dr. Michael J. Lincoln that I referenced. One of the, there are many different aspects for why we would hold on, and even looking at reality maybe in the truth that it is. Sometimes we aren't able to see the truth of reality, and this is a very profound example why we might not be seeing the truth within the reality. One of the references in his book pertain to truth perceptions. So for example, if you were a child and you saw the truth within a matter in your family situation or in your environment, and you spoke up about that situation, you wanted to speak the truth, you saw the truth, or maybe you wanted to make matters right based on you seeing the truth within the reality. But then maybe you were shut down, maybe you were silenced, maybe there was a fight because of it, maybe there was a disaster because of it, or an accident because of it. And that incident in your life may have programmed you from thinking that speaking the truth and seeing the truth is actually bad because there was harm attached to it in the past. So then your subconscious kicks in to form a belief system that seeing the truth and speaking the truth can actually cause harm because of maybe something that you experienced in childhood. So that's how these things play out. And that's why it is so powerful to do this work, to unravel the past so that you can start to reprogram a positive future. When we have our truth perceptions thrown off, there can be a fear mechanism built within ourselves that is going to go off when we want to uncover the truth, when we want to see the truth within situations. And when we don't see the truth within situations, it's difficult to let go of the situations because we don't have full clarity yet. Or there might be a false limiting belief within us that wants us to hold on to it because we haven't resolved it, we haven't discovered the truth within it, and we may be unconsciously holding on to it for some kind of reason. Now, again, it could be holding on to a person, holding on to a relationship, holding on to love, holding on to fear, holding on to a story from the past, holding on to pain and sorrow, holding on to what someone did to us the day before or got caught off in traffic, whatever this is. This is a continual process. And again, I've said this many times before, awareness is crucial. And when we start to understand our triggers and our emotions and what we're holding on to, then it's going to be easier and easier for us to let it go. So this is a very powerful practice, especially now exiting Scorpio season, which we just had. We're now moving towards Sagittarius season next. And when we've discovered our truth, when we have uncovered those buried subconscious memories, the emotions, the energies, the attachments, when we've uncovered them and when we've gone through a bit of that death and rebirth, purging of the old, releasing, letting it go, then we open up for more. And this is what we're stepping into, moving into Sagittarius season. Sagittarius is the truth seeker with the archer, right, with the bow, aiming the arrow towards our truth. We become more and more clear about who we are, our eyes open, we discover the truth within ourselves and within the world and within relationships, we are able to seek more. We can be open for more knowledge, more adventure, more curiosity, and more opportunities. So this is a process and we are right in the middle of it. That's why I also wanted to record this video at this time, because we are exiting this moment of deep transformation, deep analysis, and letting go of the energies of the past. So I hope this video found you when you need it the most. Do check out the podcast. The link is below as I go deeper into this topic with stories, of course, of my own experiences. So I hope this offered some guidance for your journey and beyond. And I will be seeing you very soon. Take care.